Mr. President, we're facing a deadline tonight. At midnight, the current reauthorization of the Federal Aviation Administration expires. What I'm offering is neutrality, political neutrality, a clean extension. What I'm afraid I'm going to get back is an insistence that if you don't take the House Republican proposal, we'll shut it down. Let us, as politicians, do our battles here. Let's never do them at the expense of ordinary people across America who are trying to do good work to improve our airports and to make sure that we have the safest runways and the safest air operations in the world. And so I'm going to make this request for a clean extension without getting into this political squabble at all. And I hope that the Republicans will not object. I hope that we can extend this authorization for the Federal Aviation Administration. Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent the Senate proceed to the consideration of calendar number 109, H.R. 2553, that a Rockefeller-Hutchison substitute amendment, which is at the desk, be agreed to, the bill as amended be read a third time and passed, and the motions to reconsider be laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate.
Is there objection?
I object.
Objection is heard.
Mr. President,
Senator from Utah.
I would like to take just a few minutes to explain my objection to the legislation just offered by my esteemed colleague. The consent request just offered by my colleague, even if accepted, would not prevent a lapse of current law. As my colleagues are likely aware, the House has completed legislative business for the week, so the only way to prevent a disruption to F.A.A. funding is to pass Chairman Mica's bill the House passed earlier this week. I share House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee Chairman Mica's frustration that favors to organized labor have overshadowed the prospects for long-term F.A.A. reauthorization. The House bill would merely undo a big partisan favor done at the behest of big labor and put efforts to unionize airline workforces on the same footing they had been on for years. As I said, it is unfortunate that kowtowing to big labor has effectively grounded efforts to get a long-term F.A.A. reauthorization off the ground. As a Senate confrere to the F.A.A. bill, I stand ready to do everything I can to break the cycle of short-term extensions and to do something that hasn't been done around here for more than 7.5 years and get the F.A.A. reauthorization off the ground. So having said all that, I ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of H.R. 2553, which was received from the House. I ask unanimous consent that the bill be read a third time and passed, the motion to reconsider be laid upon the table, and that any statements relating to the bill appear at this point in the record.
Is there objection?
Reserving the right to object.
Objection is heard.
Mr. President, Senator from Utah is my friend. We've worked on many things together. What he has presented to you is one side of a story, one side of a debate, and said, unless you accept the House Republican position on this, which has not been resolved, we're going to lay off 4,000 people at midnight tonight. Do you think that means anything to them? What I offered was a clean extension that didn't get into the merits of this, which said, let's put this debate aside and that debate aside and keep the agency working, the Federal Aviation Administration. Said, nope, you either take the Republican approach or else. And incidentally, he told you at the outset, the House Republicans have gone home. They're gone. They sent this over and said, take it or leave it or close it down. That's not a very sound choice for our country. I'm sorry that the Senator from Utah objected to a clean extension of this so that we could keep up these operations. I object to this because I don't believe it's a fair approach.
President?
Objection is heard.
Mr. President?
Senator from Utah.
You know, a lot of us on this side are getting a little tired of the National Labor Relations Board usurping the power of the Congress of the United States and enacting labor laws that by F.A.A. of the board. We've got to stop this changing laws without the consent of Congress just by the F.A.A. of those on the National Labor Relations Board and the National Mediation Board. It's not right. It's upturning hundreds of years of labor law, and frankly, it's wrong. And I'm on the side of the House in this matter because of it.
Mr. President.
Senator from Illinois.
Perhaps if I were as persuasive as my colleague has just said, he would not have objected. But having said that, when we speak about heavy hands, we don't have to worry about the heavy hand of the House on this issue because they went home. They took off. They left, which means that 4,000 people will be furloughed this evening. Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent the Senate proceed to the consideration of calendar number 104S300.
Clerk will report.
Calendar number 104, S300, a bill to prevent abuse of government charge cards.